Okay, students. Today we will be starting the chapter lesson 9, living organisms and their surroundings. Right? So shall we start? Bache, around you, there are so many things. There is your siblings around you, your pets around you, your pencils around you, your books around you, your bag, your chair, your table. So many things make up our environment. Right? ठीक है? So बच्चे, out of these things, few things we say they are living, while few things we say they are non-living. Right? So students, which are living and which are non-living things? How do we characterize that this is a living thing and this is a non-living thing? Students, there are few characteristics of living things that say that they are living. Due to these characters, we are able to say that these are living things. What are these characters? कौन कौन से characters हैं ये? Number 1, could anybody tell? कोई बच्चा बता सकता है कौन से characters हैं? Raise your hand. Who will tell? Rishita. Yes, Rishita. I would like to hear the answer.
Yes, ma'am. Living beings show movement from one place to another.
I couldn't hear you. Speak again.
Ma'am, living beings show movement from one place to another.
Okay. I still didn't hear you. So let me ask another child. Maybe there is some problem in your mic, Suhana.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Living things grow. Living things need.
Wait, growth means living things. They show growth. Number 2,
They need food.
need food and water, right? Aage,
They show movement.
movement, right? Then
They respond to stimuli.
respond to stimuli, right? Then
They do respiration.
they respire, right?
They excrete.
They excrete.
They
Then
reproduce.
they reproduce.
Reproduce.
हाँ, reproduce, right? मुझे लगता है इन सबसे पहले the major one you have left, they
are made up of cells.
Cellular structure means they are made up of cells. Thank you, Suhana. That was very much right. So we will be discussing one by one all the characteristics of living things. First is cellular structure. मैंने इसको सबसे ऊपर क्यों लिखा? Because all living organisms, they are made up of cells. Cell is the basic unit of life. While non-living organisms, they do not have any cellular structure. They are not made up of cells, right? But some organisms, they are made up of only one cell. They are known as unicellular. What do we call them? Uni means one. Unicellular means they are made up of only one cell. That one cell, it performs all the functions, right? If that one cell die, the organism die. Got it? On the other hand, there are other organisms which are made up of more than two cells. They are known as multicellular. Means their body is made up of more than two types of cells, different cells or similar type of cells, right? Similar type of cells perform one function, other type of cells perform other function. If one cell or two cells, they die, right? The death of the organism does not take place. Okay, different organism, different cells perform different functions in the organism in case of multicellular organisms. Example of unicellular is amoeba, paramecium. Okay, and multicellular is horse, dog, cat, lion, yew, tree. Okay, then comes to growth. Every living organism, bache, it shows growth. When you were born, you were very small, infant. Later on, you grow up to a 1-year-old child, then to a 10-year-old child. Now you are a teenager. After few years, you will be the adult. Okay. So all these are different stages of your life cycle. What is life cycle? क्या होता है life cycle? Various stages that are passed by an organism during its lifetime. It is known as its life cycle. Different organisms have different stages in their life cycle, right? One kind of species has same stages of life cycle. For example, the life cycle of all the butterflies will be from egg to caterpillar, then from caterpillar to pupa stage, and then again to adult butterfly, right? All the butterflies will have this one. All the human beings will have which life cycle? They take birth, then a child, then adult, then old man, right? All will have same life cycle, but different is what? Their lifespan. Different organisms have different lifespan. Some organisms may live for 2 minutes in this world or 2 seconds in this world, while some organisms, they may live up to 100 years. Lifespan is different for every organism. What is lifespan? It is the time period from birth till death of an organism. What is lifespan? It is time period from birth till death of an organism. Right? Is there any doubt? Bhavesh, you want to say something? Bhavesh? No, he is not responding. Okay. Next, need food. Next characteristic is need food. All the living organisms, they need food to survive. Right? Why they need food? Because this food provides them energy to do every kind of work. Every living organism needs food. Now the question arises, from where do they get food? Bache, plants, they make their own food by the process of photosynthesis, green plants. Due to this characteristic of green plants, they are known as autotrophs. What do we call them? Autotrophs. Now, all other organisms, they are dependent on autotrophs for their food requirements. So, they are called heterotrophs. Heterotrophs. Right? Am I clear? What are heterotrophs? Heterotrophs are the organisms that depend on autotrophs for their food requirements, whether directly or indirectly. These heterotrophs, they may be herbivores, they may be carnivores, or they may be omnivores. Right? ये कोई भी हो सकते हैं. Is that clear? Non-living things, they do not need food at all. Now next is movement. Bache, all living organisms, they show movement. Right? They move from one place to another. While non-living organisms, they do not show any movement. Bache, we human beings, We have 2 legs to walk, to run, and 2 hands to hold the things. Animals, they have 4 legs to move. Some crawl, right? Some birds have wings, some organisms have wings to fly, to move. Even plants show movement. Have you heard about mimosa? Touch me not plant. When you touch its flowers or leaves, it closes itself. It droops down. This is the movement, right? The sunflower, it always turns its head towards the light. This is the movement, right? Is that clear? Next is response to stimuli. Bache, they are almost similar in case of plants. Plants, they are generally fixed, but they show movement in response to the stimulus. What is the meaning of response to stimulus? Or first of all, tell me the meaning of stimuli or stimulus. Could anybody tell? What is the meaning of stimuli? Apart from Suhana, there is no child. Harshia.
Ma'am, any change in environment of an organism.
That is known as
Stimulus.
stimuli. Very right.
Yes.
Any change in the surroundings, right, of an organism, it is known as stimuli. And reaction of organism towards that change is known as response to stimuli. ठीक है, उस चेंज का रिएक्शन क्या होगा? दैट इज नोन एज रिस्पॉन्स टू स्टिमुलाई. Every organism, living organism, respond to stimuli. Okay. For example, at night you hear certain kind of voices, right? When there is no one talking, no one making any noise, when you try to sleep, certain kind of voices are heard. They are the voices of some small organisms like cockroaches, ants, they come out during the night. So when you immediately switch on the light, what do you observe? They start running here and there. They start finding the place to hide. In response to light, they start moving here and there. There is change in environment. वो रात में बाहर आए हैं अंधेरे में, बट जैसे ही आपने लाइट ऑन करी, what they respond, what is their reaction? भावेश, clock is a non-living thing. क्लॉक की टिक टिक सुनाई देती है, बट जब तुम लाइट बंद ऑन कर देते हो, क्लॉक भागना नहीं शुरू हो जाती. So it does not respond to stimuli. Whereas ants, cockroaches, they respond to stimuli. Okay? In the same way, plants, as I gave you the example of sunflower, जहां जहां सन होता है, सन की पोजीशन चेंज होती है ड्यूरिंग द डे, तो the face of the sunflower is towards the sun. It changes throughout the day. Yeah, right, Gaurav. Got your answer. Venus flytrap. जैसे ही इंसेक्ट उसको टच करता है, तो वो अपना पूरे पेटल्स को बंद कर लेता है, लीव्स को बंद कर लेता है. Right? It is in response to stimuli. Similarly, mimosa. एक और है, plants, they always grow towards the light. The shoot of the plant, it grows towards the light. कभी देखा है shoot जमीन के नीचे grow कर रही है? No. Plants, they grow towards the light. This phenomena is known as phototropism. क्या बोलते हैं इसको? Phototropism. And root, it always grow away from the light. Root, it always grow away from the light. Right? ये opposite side में करती है. इसको negative phototropism बोलते हैं या geotropism, towards the earth. Right? Clear? So after this, respire. बच्चे, all living things, they show respiration. एक चीज मैं आपको क्लियर कर दूं, what is respiration? So many of you don't know. Could anybody tell what is respiration? कोई बता सकता है क्या होती है रेस्पिरेशन? भवेश, नो रिस्पॉन्स. भव्या,
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, it is the breaking down of food in the cells with the help of energy.
no, you are wrong. Respiration is breaking down of food with the help of oxygen that you breathe in. Due to this breaking of food, energy is released. Food को हमने break ही क्यों करना है? To get the energy. Along with this, carbon dioxide is released. What is released? Carbon dioxide. This is respiration. Right? बच्चे, some students confuse it with breathing. What is breathing? Breathing is intake of oxygen and exhaling of carbon dioxide. This is breathing. Breathing is one of the processes that are involved in respiration. Got my point? Breathing is a physical process, while respiration is a chemical process. Chemical breakdown is taking place. Okay? Breathing is taking place at organ level. Lungs पे हो रही है ना breathing, while respiration is taking place at cellular level. Okay? So, there is a difference between breathing and respiration. Got it? Is that clear? All living organisms, they do respiration. Although respiration is done, but what is different? Organs which do intake of oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide. Mechanisms are different of breathing. Breathing उसका एक part है which is very important part. So mechanisms of breathing is different in different organisms. In some organisms like we people, human beings, we have lungs to take in oxygen. Some organisms, they have gills like fishes. Earthworms, they have moist skin to breathe, right? In case of plants, they take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide through stomata. Means breathing is taking place through different mechanisms, right? What are stomata? Tiny pores present under the surface of the leaf. Got it? Is that clear? Now after this, excrete. What is the meaning of excretion? Excretion means removal of waste products from the body. Okay? So many life processes are taking place inside our body. We are doing digestion, we are doing breathing, respiration, circulation, so many things are going on. Bache, in that thing, waste products are also formed inside our body. So these waste products, they need to be removed. If not removed, they may be poisonous, they may be harmful to us. So this removal is done and the process is known as excretion. There are different organs to do excretion in different organisms, right? For example, we human beings, we have kidneys to purify the blood. We sweat through our skin, right? Urine is passed, where waste products are removed, through which. In the same way, and plants, how do they remove the waste products? They have gum, latex, resin, such excretion of such things is done by plants, right? So they also excrete harmful substances from the body. Last is reproduce. But what is the meaning of reproduce? What is the meaning of reproduction? It means producing babies of their own kind, giving birth to babies of their own kind, right? Every living organism, it gives birth to its babies. There are two ways to give birth. Either they lay eggs or directly they give birth. This you have done. There are two ways to produce babies. One is directly giving birth. Number two, by laying eggs, right? Now the question arises, why reproduction is necessary? Reproduction zaruri kyun hai? But if reproduction is not there, as you know, one day every living organism has to die. Lifespan of every living organism is fixed. If reproduction is not there, living organisms will die and the life will not continue. It will stop there. One day all the living organisms will die and there will be no life on earth. Right? Is that clear? On the other hand, non-living things do not reproduce. Okay? Clear? But plants also reproduce, you know? How do plants reproduce? Plants, they produce seeds. They reproduce by stem, roots, flowers also. हमने करी है ना vegetative reproduction in case of in class 5. स्टेम से भी न्यू प्लांट ग्रो कर जाता है, लीफ से भी न्यू प्लांट ग्रो कर जाता है, सीड से भी करता है, राइट? सो प्लांट्स आल्सो रिप्रोड्यूस. क्लियर? नाउ इज देयर एनी डाउट टू एनीवन regarding this? You can raise your hands, otherwise I will start another topic. Hurry up. Ayu and Pihu show, good morning. Ayu and Pihu, unmute yourself. आपकी एब्सेंट लग जाएगी ये आयु पीहू जो भी है. हाँ जी, स्टार्ट योर वीडियो सो दैट आई कैन सी योर फेस. आयु पीहू, स्टार्ट योर वीडियो. Okay, you are not responding, but your hand is raised. No problem. Okay, anyone else who is having doubt? और किसी को डाउट है? No doubt, then shall I start with the next topic? Respiration की definition. हाँ जी भव्या, you can note down. A process in which there is breakdown of food with the help of oxygen and energy is released along with carbon dioxide. It takes place at cellular level. Dhanvi, your hand was raised.
मैम वो सेलुलर वाला ही पूछना था.
Clear हो गया Dhanvi? Okay. Let us start with the next topic, that is living organisms and their surroundings. Let me start. Shall I raise this? Okay, students. Our next topic is living organisms and their surroundings. बच्चे, there are so many things around us, right? Both living and non-living. These living and non-living things, they make up our environment. Means all the things that surround us, they are environment. That is our environment. So our environment mainly has two components. One component is biotic component and other is abiotic component. Right? What is the meaning of biotic component? Bio means life, living. So biotic components are the living components of environment. That includes plants, animals, microorganisms, everything that is living. And abiotic are, A aa gaya word, non-living components of the environment. That includes air, water, soil, temperature, right? So, bachche, these biotic components, they can be divided into three groups on the basis of how they obtain their food. Biotic components are divided into three groups on the basis of how they obtain their food. Which are the three groups? They are producers, they are consumers, and they are decomposers. Which are the three groups? They are producers, they are consumers, they are decomposers. Right? What are producers? Producers are the organisms, living organisms that are able to make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. So, which organisms are included in this category? Green plants. Which organisms are included? They are green plants that can make their own food, that can produce their own food. Because they can make their own food, we call them as autotrophs. हम इनको और क्या बोलते हैं? Autotrophs. Right? They are also known as autotrophs. Clear? Okay. Now coming to consumers. As clear from the name. एक तो थे producer, दूसरे आगे consumers. Those organisms that consume food from producers, जो producers से food लेते हैं. So again, depending upon the type of food they are eating, they are consuming, they are categorized into three categories. They are primary consumers, जिनको हम herbivores बोलते हैं, then secondary consumers, जिनको हम carnivores बोलते हैं, right? And the third category is omnivores. Hope it is visible to you. Okay. So, consumers are herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. What are herbivores? Those organisms which depend on producers directly, which consume green plants. Example, deer, cow, buffalo, goat. Right? What are carnivores? That depend on herbivores for their food requirements. Right? They are herbivores are known as primary consumers. Carnivores are known as secondary consumers because they are dependent on herbivores. IUPU, hi. Then omnivores that can eat both plants as well as other organisms, right? Like crow, bear, we humans. Then the last category is decomposers. But what are decomposers? These are the basically microorganisms. Decomposers की category में कौन आते हैं? Microorganisms like fungi and bacteria that depend on dead and decay of other organisms. Decomposers क्या हैं? That feed on dead matter of plants and animals. They decompose the dead matter, add organic matter to the soil, making the soil fertile. Right? Is that clear? IUP हो, रिकॉर्डिंग हो रही है. आप जो सारे मैसेजेस मुझे कर रहे हो ना, वो सारे मैसेजेस आ रहे हैं. ठीक है? And they are getting saved. So now left. बच्चे पर आपका रिकॉर्ड तो है ही है. चलो, Rishita again. I am explaining decomposers. Decomposers are the microorganisms, living organisms, basically bacteria and fungi that depend on dead matter of plants and animals. They decompose them, right? After decomposition, organic matter is added to the soil and soil becomes more fertile, right? Hope it is clear to you. Now coming to the last, abiotic components. But all the non-living components, they are abiotic components of environment. What is included? Soil, water, air, temperature. They are abiotic components. Right? Living biotic components, they are dependent on abiotic components. How they are dependent on abiotic components? Plants cannot make their own food in the absence of air, water and soil. If temperature is not proper, growth and survival of many organisms is not possible, right? Clear? Apart from this, we human beings, animals, we cannot survive without water and air. We need water to drink and we need air to breathe in. Okay? So, all the biotic components, all the living organisms, they are dependent on abiotic components for their survival. Okay? And there is interaction among biotic components also. सिर्फ ये इनके ऊपर ही नहीं डिपेंडेंट, ये बायोटिक कंपोनेंट्स आपस में भी एक दूसरे के ऊपर डिपेंडेंट है, इंटरडिपेंडेंट ऑन ईच अदर. हाउ? प्लांट्स, दे नीड carbon dioxide to make the food, and this carbon dioxide is released by animals in the environment, right? Plants, they release oxygen. This oxygen is taken by excuse me, animals, right? Clear? So they all are dependent on each other. Okay? Apart from this, animals, they need shelter from plants. Plants, they want fertile soil. That is obtained when decomposers are there to decompose the food, to decompose the dead animals. Only then the soil become fertile and plants, they produce food. Okay, minerals are reached to them. Clear? Now, any doubt? Only 2 minutes are left. You can ask me right now. Hurry up. You can ask the doubts to me. Hurry up, students. Your doubts are most welcome. Tomorrow we will be discussing the test. After this, we will be doing little bit of diagrams, and if time allows. We will start with adaptations. Okay, hurry up. बच्चे एयर वाला जो चैप्टर था है ना, एयर चैप्टर, हाँ जी हजीत, आई एम गेटिंग साइट. एयर वाला जो चैप्टर था दैट आई हैड कवर्ड इन द वीडियो. जो ट्यूसडे को आपको वीडियो आया है ना 1 दिसंबर को, आई हैव कवर्ड द होल चैप्टर इन दैट वीडियो. ओके, गो थ्रू इट और अपने एग्जाम्स को अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करना, अच्छे से तैयारी करना. प्रॉपर पीडीएफ्स बनाने हैं सबने. ओके, and before sending the PDF you should go through it, that pages are properly scanned, no page should be left, because you know afterwards we don't accept left out pages. Okay, and don't get late while sending the exam. Last time also we cancelled a few papers. This time we will be very much strict regarding the time limit. Okay. So any doubt?